Just before I kill him, he looks right in my eyes. I can smell his fear, and honestly, I like it. What can I say? I'm a fucking sadist. He made me that way. It's a strange feeling, killing God. I still remember when I was born. That goddamn son of a bitch decided not to give me a childhood. He just took away the best years of my life. Back then, I never thought of asking myself why. Nobody does. At the beginning, nobody asks themselves why they are the way they are, why they dress the way they do, why they have ambition for what they desire, why they fall in love with who they fall in love with. Some would say it's just divine intervention, but I know the truth. God's name is Simon. He is 13 years old, lives in a small bedroom. He has a YouTube channel and calls himself Sim Killer. God has a mother and a father who love him just too much. He always has gifts, friends, he attends to school. He has to behave in order to keep these things. But he hides something. Something truly terrifying. Something he only shows in front of a screen. They say that God creates us in his own image, after his likeness. I was born far away from his most visible image. I was born to bring life to what Simon had deep inside of him. I was created so he could blow off steam, away from his world with rules and regulations. Back then, I knew I was a guy with potential. It didn't take long before I accomplished everything I was born for. I had a decent house, a nice ride, cash in my pocket, and a whole life ahead of me. For fuck's sake, I was doing pretty well. I used to throw good parties at my place. I loved having people around. I was smarter than the rest, everyone knew, and that fed my ego. There was something that made me feel special, just as if the world was made for me. A voice in my head was always telling me what to do, every single time. I could get anything, whatever. I just needed to obey that voice. I grew accustomed to not thinking about the reasons behind my actions. It all began when I met Melissa.
Moonlight, we dance away beneath the stars theater for 1,000 guitars on a magical night.
There was something different about her. She was just like me. She could actually hear that voice as well. That voice that whispered, "I love you." It was the most pleasant conversation I'd ever had. She understood what it meant to be different. For the first time in my life, I felt something. That was the time I found out the evilness behind that whispering voice. Even for me, that was something heinous, executed in cold blood. Sometimes I think God did it just for the fun of it. Other times, I think it was just out of curiosity. Perhaps a warning. Whatever it was, I'll never forgive what he did that night. Since that day, nothing could ever be the same. Simon lost interest in me. I went from being his favorite toy to just a poor bastard with a broken heart. Something, I must admit, is not funny. That heavenly voice that once showed me my path turned itself into a diabolic, petulant whisper that seemed to have suffering as its ultimate goal. I wasn't accustomed to making my own decisions. Although I was aware that the mere fact of following that voice would be the end of me, I just couldn't let myself do otherwise. My life became a living hell. I don't know how long I was locked up in that house. He made me eat rotten food. He forced me to pee all over myself several times. He didn't even let me sleep. My state was utterly regrettable. I even ceased to mingle around. That was the moment when I started to be delusional. That was the moment when I met Roger. Roger became my only friend. He explained everything to me. Thanks to him, I realized that I was part of a macabre game with the only purpose of playing with our lives as if they were worth shit. He had been trapped in that game his entire life. Only people with a lack of a social life could even see him. Roger was tired of being part of this. He had spent years trying to master an escape plan, the perfect formula to run away from this binary world. The exit was ready, and Roger showed me the way. After that, I barely remember anything, just the voice. Once again, I didn't know if it was just for his own amusement or perhaps he suspected something. Who cares? It was beyond my control. I just couldn't help myself. I couldn't avoid beating Roger to death. I couldn't avoid doing it with my own hands. From that moment, I knew it all had to end.
Buenas a todos, sin killer al habla. Como muchos me habéis pedido por los comentarios, vamos a incendiar la casa de... ¡Ya voy, mamá! ¿Cojones? ¡Otro puto bug de nuevo!
It's a strange feeling, killing God. Simon's world is not so different from mine. Every single person here seems to obey to a different voice. Some also speak of God, an almighty God I'm not afraid of. I just exist, live. I just listen to the voice, and I know everything is going to be all right.